I know I'm a little late to the party on this one, but I wanted to talk about something I've had on my mind throughout the past year or so about the Kingdom Hearts series, specifically Kingdom Hearts 3. From my understanding, the reception to the game has been somewhat mixed, and unfortunately I fall on the side that thought it was a disappointment given how much was riding on it. And I'm not talking about the story. I've played every game in the series except the mobile and Nintendo DS games, and I think that after all my experience, I can now confidently say that I don't think the concept behind the franchise works for me. I mean, we all recognize that Kingdom Hearts is a very odd premise for a crossover. The combination of Final Fantasy and Disney properties gives the franchise a strange notoriety unlike any other, and I think the reason it feels so weird is because these properties just don't complement each other at all. But it's not just about my growing distaste for the crossover aspect. I also believe that Kingdom Hearts fails in many respects as an action RPG. And while these issues have always been present in past games, Kingdom Hearts 3 was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I was disappointed only because I saw so much potential for the series to improve and evolve, and instead we got another safe and predictable installment that refused to push the franchise forward in a meaningful way. As the title suggests, this video is an attempt to address my issues with the past games by conceptualizing my ideal version of Kingdom Hearts 3, both as the end of an era for the series and as a springboard for the future of Kingdom Hearts gameplay. I will essentially be scrapping Kingdom Hearts 3 as we know it, and creating a hypothetical new game to replace it with. However, I will occasionally take some ideas from the game that I actually liked. So let's get started. For this proposal, the approach is to rethink the Kingdom Hearts formula by severing its identity as a Disney and Final Fantasy crossover, instead focusing purely on the original Kingdom Hearts material that has been established throughout the series' history. This means removing any and all Disney and Final Fantasy representation, such as characters, worlds, and references. The game in many ways attempts to be the ultimate Kingdom Hearts experience for fans of the original material, with plenty of fan service to go around. It also heavily commits to being an action RPG, by removing some series staples which don't necessarily complement the genre, such as the Gummy Ship missions. The main objective of this game is to assemble all of the Keyblade warriors together for another Keyblade War by traveling through time. You begin as Sora, Riku, and Kairi, and travel to a variety of worlds, recruiting as you progress through the game. All Keyblade warriors are permanently playable once recruited, and each has unique strengths and weaknesses in battle. Flow motion and other movement options outside of battle are shared across all playable characters. Characters are divided into general categories based on combat utility. For example, Sora, Roxas, and Ventus are balanced characters, Riku, Axel, and Terra excel at physical combat, and Kairi, Xion, and Aqua excel at magic. Despite this, players are free to choose any combination of 3 characters. Each character of course uses a Keyblade and magic, however each character also has one unique gimmick to set them apart, such as Sora's drive forms, Riku's dark mode, and Roxas dual-wielding Keyblades. Keyblade transformations return from Kingdom Hearts 3, and can be performed by any character. Summons, shot locks, and attractions are gone. However, characters can perform special team attacks if 2 or more team members have full meters. These team attacks usually reference iconic moments between the characters performing the attack. Leveling up and combat upgrades function the same, however the upgrade menu is now presented in a skill tree format. Instead of Disney-themed worlds, the game has you re-exploring nearly all of the previous Kingdom Hearts worlds, which have been remade to be the definitive versions of those worlds through graphical overhauls, design improvements, and the inclusion of nearly every area and music variation featured in these worlds throughout the series. The worlds included are Destiny Islands, Traverse Town, Radiant Garden, Hollow Bastion, Land of Departure, Castle Oblivion, Twilight Town, The World That Never Was, the Keyblade Graveyard, Scala ad Caelum, and the Realm of Darkness. The goal is to turn each of these worlds into their own seamless and interconnected environment, with added areas and details to make them feel like completely realized locations. If a world undergoes some sort of transformation in a prior game, such as Radiant Gardens/Hollow Bastion, the story will allow for both versions to be freely accessible after finishing the world. This idea also applies to character cosmetics. Depending on the world and story context, characters will don the appearances they had at the time in the prior games. In the end, the player will have access to nearly all cosmetic changes a character has had throughout the series, and will be able to choose between them freely. Each world is expanded and altered to fit a more explorative and free level structure. Worlds are once again filled with many treasure chests and occasional collectibles. Some may require the use of the returning flow motion mechanic, which functions mostly how it did in Dream Drop Distance. However, the combat utility of flow motion is more akin to Kingdom Hearts 3, and isn't awarded until later in the game via leveling up. Abilities such as running up walls, gliding, and diving are also awarded later, and are used to access certain treasure chests and secret areas. Occasionally, there are obstacles which require the use of magic to alter the environment, such as freezing a body of water to cross it, or reactivating machinery with a lightning spell. The overall gameplay loop in these worlds is largely the same. Players will spend most of the game exploring the environments while killing enemies, leveling up, discovering optional goodies, and fulfilling story objectives. Every world has at least one boss at the end, after which players are awarded a new Keyblade based on that world's aesthetics. Like Kingdom Hearts 3, previous Keyblades can be upgraded using synthesis items, making any Keyblade viable till endgame. Speaking of which, the endgame features many traditional activities to take part in, such as the process of obtaining the Ultima Keyblade, a boss rush mode similar to the Garden of Assemblage from Kingdom Hearts 2 or 3, and a slew of optional super bosses which really test the player's combat skills. Completing the game 100% unlocks a secret ending cutscene as well as one accessory for each character, such as Sora's crown. For all intents and purposes, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a fine game. I could talk more about why I felt it was a disappointment, but at the end of the day, the Kingdom Hearts 3 we got is yet another well-polished entry in the series with good production value. This proposal was simply a what-if scenario of what I think the game should have been, as well as an outline on how I would tweak the gameplay in order to capitalize on its action RPG elements. I understand that some of what I'm suggesting is a radical departure from what we currently associate the Kingdom Hearts series with, but I genuinely think it's a direction that would improve the overall experience, even if it robs Kingdom Hearts of the notoriety it was initially built on. If the Disney and Final Fantasy crossover aspect is truly non-negotiable, then I hope at the very least we can see a clear shift to more consistent and traditional JRPG gameplay, such as multiple playable characters, and a focus on improving those characters' stats and abilities gradually over the course of the game. Until then, I expect that I will be taking a hiatus from the Kingdom Hearts series, and I don't really plan to come back until I see a conscious effort to improve and evolve the formula.